Well, Joel, we've been waiting 6 years to make this kind of an update.
Oh my goodness.
That of all the stuff that has happened, now we're here. There's no more trying to find a contractor, doing building, no more lawyers, no more courts. This year, we're back in business.
Absolutely.
And this is a dream come true. It's like it's really happened. And now we've had so much to share. The year's not even over. We've got a lot to share. This is our time to celebrate. As going back over this, thinking of when the Lord called Debbie and I to come to Kenya alongside Mom, and when we saw her vision and her commitment to it, that when the Lord called my dad home, her thing was to take that and enlarge the vision. And she did the country of Africa on her little newsletter and put across the top, enlarging the vision. When she came back, she didn't have any land, they didn't have any buildings. She started doing meetings, traveling, doing conferences, and she bought land. That was like phase one of enlarging the vision. Then 20 years ago, the Lord called Debbie and I to come alongside her. We came, we began to help her. We built a lot more buildings there. She'd already done 19 conferences. I think we did another 50 conferences. And that was like phase two. But then 6 years ago, phase three, that was a whopper because they took the land, they took everything, eventually paid us for it. We had 6 years of almost silence, and now we've moved into the property after everything's been done. We've got 14 acres of land, we've got all new buildings, the auditorium, the admin building, the dormitory, the guest house, our dining, in a place that is so beautiful. And we don't have debt. We have all of this in front of us. How exciting it is now to sit here and get to go with you to review over this. I doubt if you're very excited, but
we are back.
It's hard to get you excited. But let's go. You kick it off with. Let's start with February and just sort of run through the year.
Well, I mean, for me, I think that this has been an amazing year. I mean, it's of all the years that we've been waiting for, this is it. I mean, we kicked this off in February. And God's timing for us to open Clarence Matheny Bible College. I mean, just the sound of that makes us exciting. You know, I mean, just thinking about God's timing, because in Kenya, this has been a big need, you know, to have an accredited college and training program that we've dreamt about. This began in February. We launched the Bible College. We've had over 63 students, so many exciting things we had, and then all began, and we have the chairman, Steve.
Well, that was a thing that was so exciting to me, because with the Bible College, I wasn't excited about teaching the book of Hebrews.
Correct.
But to have a time to pour myself into the students. And so I've got Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning chapel where we have praise and worship, and then I have 45 minutes to an hour to just pour into them. And then we started tea with the chairman from when they got out of class for an hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just to sit like we're in their living room. And they ask questions, I share experiences and testimonies. For me, this has been a dream come true.
Because you see, many people go to colleges and it's all very academic. But I think what we are offering at Clarence Matheny Bible College is the father heart. You know, what you bring on the table is you're able to father them through their ministry. You know, and it's not just head knowledge they're getting, they're actually getting the heart of ministry. So I think when we launched the Bible College, it's been so significant. A lot of people have talked about it. There's so much interest. There's even now desire from other nations, you know, because we've received so many applications from pastors from Nigeria, from Tanzania, from Malawi, from Zambia. And I think what we're going to do going forward is we have to offer the same courses online. The most significant thing about the Bible College is obviously the individual touch it brings to every student. I mean, there's one particular lady. Her name is Agnes. She comes from down south, Mombasa. I mean, she was thrust into the ministry because her father passed away and handed over the ministry to her before he died. And she's never been trained, never been equipped. I mean, she was the perfect candidate for the Bible College. And she began to come all the way from Mombasa. She takes a bus. She gets there in the morning and goes straight to class, and she's there the whole week.
Travels all night.
Travels all night, yes. And then it's very convenient for her because right at the end of the week, she's able to go back to school. I mean, back to church. And so what has been significant is that she had never preached before. And when she began coming to the Bible College and we began to train her, it was evident that she was being transformed. She was able to teach the word accurately. She was staying on point. In fact, so many other students have come out of just seeing her transformation in the ministry.
For real, I'm one of the students who have benefited from the scholarship here at CMBC, and I really thank God for that, because it has really helped me so much, because being a full-time minister and there are those commitments here and there financially, but that scholarship has really helped me so that I can be able to continue with my studies, and I really thank God for that. And I know for every right, there must be someone somewhere holding the torch, and I really thank God because of everybody who is so much concerned to make sure that you get the scholarship. I thank the management of the institution and the sponsors. I really appreciate God for that, because that has really opened for me a great door in ministry, and my continuity to be in class, so that I cannot miss any of the classes.
In addition to the Bible College, we had 5 conferences through the year, and I counted all up. We had 2,010 delegates. Wow, we're back. Tell us about March.
Well, the first conference we had was in March. I mean, this was something that we had been looking forward to for a long time. I mean, all the pastors who had been coming to CMM, sleeping under tents, sleeping in army courts, we were able to host 700 delegates in the month of March. This was our opening conference. Everybody had a bed. Everybody had there was self-contained rooms like never before, hot water showers. I mean, this was like a dream come true. And what was even more exciting is that we combined the conference with our dedication. I mean, at the dedication, you were there, Pastor Murphy was there, Pastor Don Mathiri was there. I mean, we had an exciting time. Most of the pastors who came, who had been to the old CMM, just were awed by the beauty and the new facility. In fact, I remember one of the pastors from Rwanda, he walked in and when he saw the buildings and saw what we had built, he went straight down on his knees and started worshiping and said, "I think I'm in heaven."
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, that was one of the most exciting things. And I think during the dedication service itself, there was a lot more people that came who were not part of the conference. We had our 700 delegates, but we had another 400 people that came from Nairobi to be part of the dedication.
it was a day of rejoicing for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, after that, we then in July had, once again, we're back now with the marriage conference, which we haven't been able to have for 5-6 years. And so everybody's been waiting. But what was so different with this conference, a lot of differences, but in the old CMM, we had 2 floors. The men would stay on one floor, the women would stay on another, because we didn't have enough rooms for them to stay together.
Yeah.
But this time, we had 120 couples.
Yeah.
They took all the 110 rooms at the Clarence House,
Yeah.
and then we upgraded some to the Jewel House.
Yeah.
And for them to have their own room and to be there and then to be in that place of beauty,
Yeah.
where they could, during breaks, go out on the grass and just sit there and talk and enjoy the scenery.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was a blessing.
Yeah, and two, I think one of the things that was very significant about this marriage conference was just the ministry and the gifts. A lot of the pastors had been missing that. I mean, can you imagine, for 5 years, they were used to a time of refreshing. Every year they'd come, their marriages would be strengthened, and they would go back and begin their own marriage conferences in their churches and in their regions. So I had a lot of pastors who actually spoke about how much investment this was, especially the teaching Pastor Rene brought and everything that was organized on that day, during that conference. They were able to go back with so much content for their churches.
Through this marriage conference, I've gotten to understand those things.
Yeah.
And trust me, we have had such a nice moments and times with my wife where we've gotten to say,
Yeah.
these are some of the things we need to change. These are some of the things we now need to build.
Yeah. And also what we love most is that we got an upgrade.
Come on.
Being the youngest couple in the conference, we actually got an upgrade for our room, and we got the special room in the Jewel House, which is something that we love so much as a couple. And we've also enjoyed the many, many gifts we have received in the conference. Gifts I'm going to keep in my home, gifts that I'm going to use for myself. So we love all the gifts and also all the materials that we have obtained from this conference. it's such a good foundation for us as we continue with our 2 months to many, many months moving on.
Yeah.
That gets us to August.
August, yes.
Yeah.
We had, 2 amazing youth conferences. One was for the ages between 13 to 19, and the other was for college-age students. And what was significant about Count Me In this year is that every night we saw at least 200 young teenagers give their lives to Jesus. We began on the first night. Actually, the first night was 250. The next night was 200. The night after that, it was just an outpouring of the Spirit in their lives and strengthening
There were 700.
There was 700 at the conference. Yes.
300 something at the college.
Oh yeah, and too, the thing with the youth is that because they eat a lot, it stretched our facilities. We were stretched in terms of food preparation, and we did it all. And then the next week, then we had the college conference. And what was significant about the college conference that we had 23 churches that sent their youth. Initially, we thought it was just going to be people from different colleges, but then it turned out that most of the churches, the youth leaders had been burnt out, and they needed a time of refreshing. So the college conference ended up being a time of refreshing for many of the youth churches in and within Kenya and Tanzania.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was incredible. And then we had our next leadership conference in September. And that was just back to normal again, or above normal.
Yeah.
Having a conference again where we can give out concordances and do the concordance workshop and see the joy, the bookstore.
Yeah.
When they all went to the bookstore again. And it was like we're back doing what God's called us to do. It's very refreshing. And then we did regional meetings as well.
Oh yeah, we've had 4 or 5 regional meetings this year. I mean, we began with a regional meeting in Vihiga. We had 316 people that came. Then we went to Mombasa. That was big. We had 452 people. Then we went to Taveta, 150. Then we were in Makueni. We had at least 300 people. Then this October, our last regional meeting was in Bungoma. We had 100 people who came for that. And so yes, regional meetings, we were able to expand that even this year.
Yes, and in addition to all that, the being what we are calling open for business with other groups who would want to come now when we're not using it and rent it, we knew we would need to get everything off the ground again because we're back, we can take groups. But even before we were opened, people were coming, and 10 days after we opened in March, then we had 640 leaders that came from a ministry called Arise Africa. And they were first going to have 340, and then they had another 300. But what was unique about this and was such a blessing with this group was that they flew in pastors from every nation in Africa.
Correct.
And they wanted us to keep all the international gifts, which was 340. Then at the last minute, they brought in pastors from every county in Kenya, another 300. So 10 days after we opened, we have 640 leaders from all over Africa. We were only keeping them at night, and they were bused to their conference and come back and spend the night. But we had so many concordances left because we hadn't had conferences that we decided to give each one of them their own concordance and stamped our information in the front and then give that to them and then taught them how to use it the next night, and they were through the roof. But for me personally, it was such a great moment because I was able to put concordances in pastors' hands in every nation of Africa.
Correct.
And so now, maybe I need to go do this in Hawaii.
In fact, that's what sparked off a lot of interest in what we're doing. I mean, in terms of conferences, meetings that are coming to CMM, new connections, new partnerships. Really, that event was very significant, having all those pastors from all over Africa, because that's where we're even getting students coming from all over different nations interested in our Bible college.
Yes, that was like a big marketing event too, because the word got out, and we're really the only one of the facilities in Kenya that can do a large group like that to keep everybody like we can and dining and so forth. And since March, when the office figured it up for me, since March, other than our own groups, we've hosted 22 groups with the total number of guests 3,490.
Correct.
And we still have 8 groups from November and December that are already confirmed. Another 8 groups are waiting to get their deposits, which is another almost 2,000 guests. That even without hardly any marketing at all, once the word got out, we've really been blessed, because as these groups come, the finances from that run the CMM during the month. So that's been tremendous to have that. So I went back through all this and I did a little thing called the numbers. That the total number of delegates at all these events was 2,010. The total that attended regional meetings was 1,444. The number of students that have come to the Bible College was 68. We've increased our staff to 32. The number of books that we've given away during this time, 7,944. And the number of concordances that we gave away this year was 1,054, along with 22 non-CMM groups of 3,490 guests. But when I saw the testimonies from some of the conferences where they write their testimony and we began to read those, that was priceless. What an awesome, and 2024?
Hey, I believe that 2024 will be an explosion. I mean, this is going to be through the roof. I mean, first of all, we are definitely going to have to go online. We're going to start offering our Bible courses online, because we have maxed out what we can do on property, and a lot of interest is coming from all of Africa, so that we can do. We also believe that there's going to be so many more conferences, partnerships that have sprung up because of what we have done this year. We've seen so many different ministries want to connect with us. In fact, one significant one is that we have an opportunity next year to train probably close to 2,000 chaplains, police chaplains from all over Kenya. There was a divine connection, because one of the chaplains came to the marriage conference and then talked about what, they've never been to the marriage conference, and they were like, I want every chaplain in Kenya to have this experience. They were so blessed. And through that, they contacted us, and I believe this is going to be a very significant thing that's going to happen next year. Partnerships, online Bible college, more conferences, more regional meetings. We've already planned the youth camps, youth conferences. I mean, 2024.
I guess you're going to want to raise, aren't you? What a great year. We're back. What a time to celebrate. 2024. Here we come.
We come.